If you know anything about the Wera product line, then you've heard about the Hex Plus feature on their hex keys. But did you know that all of Wera's square drive screwdrivers and bits are Square Plus? In Wera's catalog, they call out Hex Plus and explain that it reduces the deformation of screws and gives an above average service life. I think the idea is they achieve more surface area pushing against the side rather than everything concentrated at a point. But they don't call out the Square Plus feature on all of these square drive screwdrivers. Here's the Wera Hex Plus. You can see the groove in every edge on the hex. They did the same thing with the Square. They put a little groove right down the middle of each flat side. I bought all of these square drive screwdrivers on KC Tool, but nowhere on the KC Tool website was that feature called out. Maybe you've noticed all of the variation in the colors between these Wera square drive sizes and VDE and non-VDE compared to other series that don't vary the color between sizes. Robertson Square Drive has a color coding system, and Wera is following that color coding system. Size 3 is black, size 2 is red, and size 1 is green. And then when you get into the smaller sizes, size 0 is yellow and 00 is orange. There's a little bit of confusion about size 4. Robertson color coding seems to be orange or brown for size 4, whereas Wera is going with black on that one. Size 3, Robertson color coding is black. So for the non-VDE, Wera chose the black handle with the gray accent, and for the VDE size 3, they chose the red to correlate to VDE, and the black accent to correlate to the black Robertson color coding. Robertson size 2 is red, and this is an original Robertson screwdriver made in Canada, and it is red for the following screw number sizes. Robertson size 1 is green, and that's why Wera has this dark green color. That is part of the Robertson color coding system. And then their size 0 is yellow, and their size 00 is orange. And you might be wondering why this non-square drive screwdriver is here. So just briefly, this is Craftform Comfort, this is Wera Craftform Classic, and this is Wera Craftform Plus. And this Wera square drive is a size 2, and that is why the Craftform Classic handle is all red. I had to just briefly show the 3 different handle types because I got called out in a previous video for being ignorant of the 3 different Wera Craftform handle types: Comfort, Classic, and Plus. Now you know. Moving on. So we have the genuine Robertson square drive on the left. We've got a Weehaw square drive in the middle. And then we've got the Wera Square Plus on the right. And you can see those grooves there. Here's another close-up shot of the Wera and the original Robertson side by side, just to show the differences. Okay. What about Wera square drive bits? So this is a data sheet right from the Wera website. And even on this data sheet, they don't call out Square Plus anywhere in the description. Some of the bits they do call out as Square Plus, but if you're new to the product line and new to the feature, like me, it's very confusing to figure out if every Wera square bit has Square Plus. They do show Square Plus called out for some of the bits on the Wera website. I was confused about the answer to that question until I opened the Wera catalog and looked at each square bit type in the square drive series. The diamond coated ones are Square Plus, stainless steel, Square Plus. The BTZ, which is bit torsion, those are Square Plus. I think the KC Tool was using these official Wera images on their website that don't show the square plus machining. One of the ones I was confused about was the V bits, which are shaped like a wedge. I couldn't figure out if they were a wedge or square plus. Well, the answer is they're wedge and square plus, according to the catalog right here. So there was plenty of confusion shopping online for these, and I've looked through each one of these square bits, and they all are called out in the catalog as having square plus. So even though I don't own any Wera square plus bits, I believe that I can confidently say that if you're buying Wera square drive screwdrivers or bits, they're all going to be square plus. Square drive in the United States has a lot of competition with Torx, and I by far use way more Torx, which is why I don't own a single Wera square drive bit. I have square drive bits such as these that are in this vessel set. I've got square drive bits, but where I run into square drive is electrical and pocket screws, and then these small finishing screws that I have that are also square drive. This 300 millimeter length square drive I got for pocket screws that are going into very thin material that I don't want to use an impact on, and I wanted to get my knuckles away from the adjacent surface. 300 millimeters is plenty long. The 200 millimeter FYI works just fine, getting your knuckles away from the adjacent surface in a pocket hole application. This screw is to the front panel of my circuit breaker box, and it is a hybrid of number 2 square and flat. This is a number 2 Milwaukee ECX bit, and it fits that. This bit is a hybrid of number 2 square and flat. It's worth noting, however, that number 2 square drive fits more deeply into one of these hybrid fasteners than the ECX does because in the fastener, the hole for the square is deeper than the flat. And on the ECX bit, the square does not protrude past the edge of the flat part. So it is not going as deep into the square drive socket as it does using a square drive screwdriver. So if you've got a damaged fastener, that may be worth knowing. Another very common place to run into number 1 square drive is outlets and switches. That is square drive, and it is hybrid square drive and flat. So it's a combination of square drive and flat, but that is a number 1 square drive. Same on the ground screw. And this is the Milwaukee ECX size 1 bit, which is a hybrid of size 1 square drive and a flat. And I typically use those on this type of a fastener. But again, it's worth noting the center square goes deeper into the fastener than the ECX does. And then there are occasions when circuit breakers will have this large size 3 square. And that is why I got a large size 3 square. And the Wera size 3 works perfect for that. I don't know where I might ever run into the size 00 and the size 0 square. These weren't very expensive, and I just had to have them because the square drive screwdrivers are so colorful. They look really good on Instagram. They look really good on Instagram. Online, researching these screwdrivers, of course, you run into the purists that insist that an official Robertson square drive tip needs to be used in a square drive fastener, and that the amount of wobble is reduced, and that the retention is better. This example has a lot of wear and tear on it. I remember when my dad started switching over to square drive in my dad's cabinet shop as a kid, and this was our one and only square drive screwdriver. We had bits, but this was the only screwdriver we had that was square drive. This was it. There's a lot of decades of wear on this thing. So yeah, the retention isn't very good, and it's a little sloppy. Here's a Weehaw. The Weha definitely sticks better on there. I would say there's probably more wobble there though than the Robertson. Here's the Wera. That's definitely better than my old worn out Robertson. Bit wobble, maybe a little bit more than the Robertson. It does seem to me that the Robertson tip is fitting in there with more accuracy. Well, that will definitely satisfy the purists. I'm curious to know what the Canadians think of the Wera Square Plus Square Drive. That's Wera Square Plus. Thank you for watching.